as we head towards our first ITV4 programme of the season. That is at Thruxton, and we're going to get the chance to see some Mini Cooper racing. They've already had a round. I wanted to talk to the man who won the second race at Snetterton last weekend, Lee Pearce. Lee, thanks for joining us, mate, and congratulations on winning that race. Tell us a bit about your weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much. Car was going very well at the weekend. Managed to put it on 6 on the grid for the qualifying round. Yeah, other than that, I couldn't ask much more out of that weekend, really. So, good weekend all in all, and hopefully we can move on to Thruxton and get the same results.
Yeah, we look forward to that. I was looking at the results back from Snetterton. I think there were 6 different people in the podium, so nobody had a double podium at the weekend, and that shows just how tight that championship is.
No, you're right. I think it was top 10 drivers was within half a second, so that just shows you how close it was. And for the photo finish in the final race, that just showed the commitment from each and every driver. I think the top 5 was within 0.3 of a second, so yeah, very close.
Thruxton's going to be good because I know last year, I know the boys have been wanting to put on a better show because there were a few incidents last year which a lot of you managed to get through, which was good. And in some respects, is it good to get that first round out of the way at Snet before you go to Thruxton?
It is, but it seems like now the pressure's on a little bit more. Obviously, last year we was at Thruxton and we had not a very good round, to be honest with you. We didn't finish, I think, in qualifying. We had a wiring problem in the actual main race, but we did show good pace last year. So then coming into this year's test day, putting it on pretty much pole position lap time, it's all to play for in the next round, really. So looking forward to going to Thruxton and showing what pace we can do.
You're with Graves Motorsport now. I had a chat with Max Coates a couple of weeks ago, and Graves is new. Is that new for you this year?
It is, yeah. Last year we seemed to struggle a bit. There was only 2 of us that actually went racing last year, and it was just too much actually looking after the car. Preparing the car for race weekends. I've got Motorwise Motorsports that's been helping me out last year.
Yeah.
We made the decision to go with Graves Motorsports this year, and yeah, so far so good. So all the team at Graves Motorsports have done a lot to help me out and put me in the right direction, and yeah, took a lot of weight off my shoulders. So hopefully, plenty more to come. So
your background in the minis, you won the amateur class because the Formula as it is now was split into Pro and Am, wasn't it, back in 2019, and you won the amateur class, and then it all merged into one for last season. And at the same time, people know where this is going because they know my love for stock car racing. You're the world 1300cc stock car champion the same year, and that's your roots. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we started mini stock racing when I was 12, and I was working it out the other day. Been racing 25 years now. Circuit racing. So so at some point I thought I was going to make a change and step up into the circuit racing. It's been a dream of mine since I was a child. But yeah, so 2019 I think it was, we decided to have a go at the mini challenge. I don't think it was the best idea at the time because we was juggling between circuit racing and short circuit racing, and some days we was traveling between tracks that were actually racing on the same day. So we'd be, say, racing Northampton and leave Northampton and then have to quickly make it to Snetterton or vice versa. So, but it seemed to pay off because we won the World Championship and we won the Mini Challenge Championship. So, yeah, it kept me on my toes.
They're totally different disciplines, aren't they, as well? Because you could be racing on trail as opposed to tarmac, and the speed, there's a big differential between oval speeds and circuit speeds, aren't there, too? So how do you cope with that change?
It's just experience, I suppose. Over the years, I've done a lot of different formulas for the short circuit racing with Race V8 stock cars, bangers, mini stocks, hot rods. So yeah, just the different surfaces pretty much lined me up for the circuit racing. So pretty much set up. It's totally different to set up, to be honest with you. But I just put it down to years of experience, and I suppose, yeah, that's it really.
In terms of the stock cars, will you be defending the world title?
Yes, we will be. Last year was cancelled, so we're actually 2 years running world champion at the moment. Our world championship is in Scotland this year, so which is late September. So I'm trying to, the dates have only just been released. And if I'm right, I think there's only 2 dates that clash with the mini challenge rounds, but we have sort of worked out timing that we can get between tracks. So on the same day, but yeah, hopefully all goes well. We're actually current points leader in the stock cars at the moment. So that should put us front row of the stock car grid for the world final. And then obviously with the mini challenge points at the moment, we've started off good. So hopefully we can end the same way.
Sticking with the stock car, is it Logelly or is it Kelbeath?
Yeah. Yes, we're at Logelly. I've not had much luck at Logelly. I think we won the Scottish Championship there a couple of years ago. I've had a few seconds and thirds in championships, but when it comes to the main races, we seem to battle, and I seem to come out on the losing side of it. I'm a bit outnumbered, should I say.
That people don't understand. People that don't go stock car racing, to me, don't understand the proper rivalry between England and Scotland. It is a serious rivalry, and of course, it's a bumpered sport. It's a contact sport, and you guys get stuck into each other, don't you?
It is. If I remember rightly, I think it was 2013. We had somebody mentioned, let's do a 10-on-10 Scotland v England, and I think only 2 cars finished, so it was 20 cars on the track, and you can imagine with the steelwork that we have around the cars. Literally, I think there was 2 English and 1 Scottish that finished that actual race, because we literally just obliterated each other. And I don't think anybody finished the actual laps that was meant to be completed, but everybody handshakes after, up the bath, maybe for a pint after as well, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's a great sport, camaraderie. I mean, as you know from when I've chatted to you before, I've been around a long time. And I think I'll get this right in saying that I used to watch your granddad race. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was British champion in Bristol Formula Ones. He used to race them years and years ago. Earlier on, well, at the end of last year, I managed to hire a Frankie Wayman Bristol Formula One, which I do on the odd occasion, just for the memory of my granddad, because that was the formula that he always wanted me to race. But as you know, racing a Bristol Formula One, they're not easy, and I'd say they're a full-time job. So that may be something to look at in the future. But I ain't getting any younger, so I don't know really.
And did your dad race as well?
Yes, my dad, pretty much. Yeah, my dad raced in the 80s, the Speedbirth V8 stock cars. Yeah. My uncle raced, and if I'm right, even my auntie had a go. So wow. It's definitely been through the family.
Fantastic heritage. So a lot of people that will be watching the program probably won't realise that we are into 3rd generation races, and I think it's important that people know, and that racing is very much in the blood, and it's passion for people. Going back to minis, Lee, and obviously we're looking forward to the weekend. What actually made you pick the minis out of all the championships that are available on the circuits?
It was actually a tester day that I attended at Brands Hatch. I was over there just for the day, and I noticed the Mini Challenge was having an arrive and drive test day. And I've looked at a lot of other different formulas to change over to, but that was the one that just stood out for me. The number of cars that they had, I think they had a good number of cars, and at the time the build kit was relatively a good price. Yeah. So that was what stood out for me at the time, and they was racing my first round, I think it was. I'd done a guest round at Brands Hatch, and we built a car. I think we built a car within about 3 or 4 weeks, and we entered the guest round, and we actually had a hat trick of wins. We won all 3. So that was it. I said, right, and it wasn't easy. Don't get me wrong. It was a battle, but Brands Hatch is my local track, and I know it like the back of my hand. And I think at that time is the year that my granddad actually, or not the year, it was to the same date my granddad won the British Championship. So the really emotional weekend for me, having a hat trick at Brands on the same date that my granddad actually won the British Championship. I think it was 50 years to the day, 1966, I think it was. Wow. That he actually won it. So since then, we decided to enter the full series, and it's been going well, winning the Cooper Am Championship in the first year. We didn't have so much luck last year, but it's looking well this year. So we're going to stick at it, and hopefully things move forward from here.
I hope you don't mind me asking, your teammate had a bit of a to-do last year, didn't he, Clark Wells at Thruxton?
Yeah.
And we saw that he recovered from that. I know my colleague Paul O'Neill did a little chat with him in the week afterwards. But he was out racing at the weekend as well, and all well with him, and happy to be back racing again this year.
Yeah, it's like water off a duck's back. It was. It's don't get me wrong. It maybe shook him a little bit, but he's a strong stock car racing driver, so he's used to things like this. He's had some good hard crashes over the years, but yeah, give it a week or so, and he was back fighting fit, and he's ready to go again. As you can see, he's got another car. He's back on track, and he's putting in some good lap times at the minute. So I'm looking forward to racing with him again this year, and hopefully he can get a bit closer to the front of the grid. It's just a matter of experience on the circuit racing, really. He's got a little bit more track time to get, but I'm sure he'll get there, and hopefully before you know it, we'll be battling against each other.
That'd be absolutely mega. That'd be superb. Talking about minis and staying with minis, obviously the job in hand is the Cooper class for this year. But are you looking further up the ladder racing wise, or will you be handing over the baton because there's a fourth generation maybe on the way as well?
My plan is I've still got a few more years left in me, without a doubt. It's just where we're going to go after the Coopers. I would love to go up into the JCW class.
Yeah.
I have been looking at that and talking with Graves about it, but it's trying to sort out funds and sponsorship. Luckily enough, today I did have a phone call from a good friend of mine that's willing to help me out with funding for the tyres.
Yeah.
So, which is really good news for me, really. N25 classic car spares and vehicles, they're locally based, and they're willing to help me out for like the rest of the season with tyres. So that's really good. So hopefully moving on to next year, if we do decide to go the JCW way, we might be able to get a few more people on board, which will certainly help.
Anyone involved with you now is getting great value because obviously you're on the ITV package for 3 rounds. You've got obviously Thruxton coming up. There's another Thruxton. I think we see you at the Silverstone National Circuit as well. So that's really good return, isn't it, for any sponsor?
Yeah, it is definitely. The only thing that the bad side to it is where we can't have any spectators at the moment. But hopefully from June, I think it's going to be brilliant. All the spectators and the crowd will be back there itching to get back to watch the racing. So hopefully over the next couple of months, the sport's going to pick back up, and we're going to start seeing crowded tracks again.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that as well. We'll look forward to seeing you at the weekend. Good luck for Thruxton. I don't think I can see you because we're in a broadcast bubble again, so we have to stay in our little bit of the compound, and you guys are in the paddock.
Okay.
But we'll try and catch up on the phone and try and get the news that way. But as you say, later in the season we'll all be able to mingle a little bit more, which is good for us because we'll be able to get the stories. And because we can't meet, that's why it's better to have these chats. So Lee, thanks ever so much for joining me today and giving us a little bit of an insight into your background and the start of the season that you've had. And we look forward to seeing you on track this weekend.
Yep, look forward to seeing you too. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.